that I was playing in the past. Now I'm super fast, real raw, relevant. I'm also known as super bad, with a super attitude. If you don't like it, you can book a pass and be the first in line to kiss mine. Wait a minute, what I mean is I'm a lion, not a sheep. I don't need a weakling around to try to follow me. I'm destined to be better, getting bigger every day. I don't got the patience to sit around trying to play. Focus like an animal, king of the jungle.
My friends, welcome to the Revolution Podcast. I am Sean Whalen, and as you can tell, we're already starting. This is what I love about podcasting, is like you can just sit here and talk smack, and you're just recording it. It's kind of fun like that, you know? So Heather Dees is here with us today, and I have to say before we jump into this that I used to like your husband a lot.
No longer.
Until I started training with him and working out with him. And I kind of still like him, but part of me wants to kick him right in the face.
That's pretty normal.
Sometimes. Yeah, he absolutely destroyed me this morning, and I didn't puke, which was good.
Oh, I think you told me to ask you how your legs are.
They feel good now.
Okay, good.
It's good. During the workout that I'm I want to freaking puke, kick him in the face, make every excuse. Today was a hard one. I was making all the excuses. All the same bullshit that you do when you don't want to do it. I'm like, you know what? Fuck that. Let's work out hard today. Let's go hard, which we did. So,
good.
Anyways, I like him now. I didn't like him this morning, but I like him now. So you're crazy. The fitness conversation is huge for me, and huge for Lions Not Sheep and what we do, because it's part of our core four. We have core four principles of life. Relationships, body, your mind, and then business are the four principles that we teach, four principles that we talk about. And fitness is a huge one of them. Your body is a huge one of them. And I think for me over the last couple of years, it's become even more important for my lifestyle.
Yeah.
I feel like I do things a lot better. I think, there's... I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and they were talking about public speaking, and I do a lot of public speaking and stuff. And there's just there's a feel that you get. There's an energy that you have. There's a level of, call it swag, call it confidence, call it whatever you want when you look good. And to me, at 38 years old, I know that I'm not that old for some people listening, but I am older than a lot of other people. I've put my body through havoc. I've blown out my knees. I've had surgery on both my knees. I've got a torn rotator cuff, blah, 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 compressed discs. But
none of it through fitness, though, right?
No, of course.
Random
It's just
things.
me being a total jackass, doing stupid shit, playing rugby. I blew out my knee. I fell off a 13-foot wall right onto my ass and compressed my discs and da-da-da-da. All this other just dumb shit through life. I've beat my body up. But I noticed that when I don't take care of me and my body, everything's just worse. I didn't realize how connected my my and my relationships and my business was to my fitness. So this is why I wanted to have this conversation, because I talked to Justin about it, and I talked to all my clients about it and the whole thing. But this is your life. Fitness is not only a big part of you, who you are as a person, but you actually make a living doing it. You're a professional competitor, not in the local high school
right.
gym kind of deal, which is what everybody in Utah here does. But you're competing at Mr. Olympia and the big freaking things. So talk about that, fitness for you. What is fitness for you?
Yeah, so it's fascinating because it didn't start out that way originally. I just wanted to look good. But it did come rather quickly with having the right information. And I found Justin, in 2007, August or something like that, 2007. He started training me, teaching me proper nutrition, proper weight training, proper cardio, supplementation, which I saw results fast. So it was kind of amazing to discover what I was good at, when I was 24. So now it being a business, I train other girls mostly online, and then posing, and I have endorsements and sponsors, and you have to go in the gym, and that's your work, where it sounds fun, but it's a daily thing. You have to stay on top of it.
Well, I go to the gym every day, and I didn't want to go today. Well, I did. I wanted to go, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to get my ass kicked. And I knew it, but it was good. And I think the thing that's impressive about you know, watching what you've done, and like just in talking to Justin today, is like most people struggle with fitness.
Yeah.
Like most people struggle with just eating right. Most people struggle with like working out. I mean, that's the reason so many of these big box gyms do so well, is because they pitch the dream and the vision and the idea, and they give you a really cheap membership knowing that you're probably not going to show up.
They bank on it.
You know, but you've kind of taken it to another level, and which is really fascinating to me, because I know how hard it is. I know the lifestyle that it takes. I've never done it. I can't say that I've ever done a show or a competition or whatever,
right.
But I know for me as a beat up 38-year-old dad, entrepreneur, whatever, how hard it is just to stay in good shape. But I realize the benefit of it, and I recognize the dividend of it in so many other areas of my life. So talk about like the taking it from 07, meeting Justin, getting in shape, to like, why do you do what you do now? Like, why do you compete? You're obviously, there's got to be kind of the mojo behind the competition and the fire and all that other stuff, but why do you do what you do now with fitness?
Well, I mean, I think I compete because that's a goal like set out to work towards. So always wanting to make improvements with your physique, never being satisfied, is like every other aspect of your life, is business. If you were just satisfied at where you're at, you're going to start going backwards. And it's the same with fitness. The second you're just satisfied with your physique, you're going to start going backwards automatically, because you get lazy and stagnant. And so for me, I compete just to keep going, to keep pushing, to keep evolving my physique, and it does give you a sense of confidence. It makes me I would agree, better in business, more confident person. Just, I guess, all of that basic stuff that seems probably not so basic to some, but yeah, I see a lot of people, they yo-yo, they go, you know, they'll go for a while and then they'll drop off, and then they'll eat clean for a while and they drop off, and they want to see results instantly, and once they don't, they are like, never mind, I'm not going to do this. But I always tell people that are like striving to hit those fitness goals, like, this month's work is next month's body. So you're not going to see like 4 to 6 weeks, and then you'll start seeing, you know, the results of your last 4 to 6 weeks of work. So, and I'm sure that's the same with business, which you could probably tell me more about that than I could tell you.
It's funny how it parallels, how much fitness parallels. One of my favorite quotes is, how you do one thing is how you do all things. Mm-hmm. And you see people yo-yo in fitness, and they yo-yo in their relationship, and they yo-yo in business and their bank accounts and the whole thing. And I completely, fully believe that. Like, how you do one thing is how you do everything. That's why for me, being consistent in stuff and having small incremental achievements and aspects of progression is so huge. Where people are financially right now today is not because of what happened yesterday, or because their car broke down and they had to replace a transmission, or they had to do this or this. Where people are today financially is because of what they were doing 6 months ago.
Right.
Like, where people are fitness-wise today is because of the shit that they were eating 6 months ago,
right,
or the lifestyle that they were living. Where your relationship is today is because of the patterns that you've established over the last 6 months. You know what I mean? 12 months, whatever it is.
I think we can all learn from that, because, you know, there are areas in my life I feel like I'm really good at fitness and I'm really motivated with that, but there are other areas, like maybe financial or relationship wise, which, you know, me and Justin have a great relationship, but there is always room to improve.
Sure.
So
just like your body, that's what's interesting. I mean, I've seen your pictures of the shows, and I see these bodybuilders and these women and the bikini competitors and all this other stuff. And what's fascinating to me is almost every single one of them across the board says the same thing. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to do better. There's something that I want to do differently. I like this, or I don't like this. Some people look at that as like, you're crazy. Look at you.
Right.
Like look, you have, you done? You know, your relationship, you guys look good together. You have the house, and you have a car, and you have a good job, and all these other things. But somebody that like wants more, and they want to strive, and they want to do more. And that's something that's always blown me away about fitness, about competitors in particular, like with what you do, is like what you just said, like, I want to do better. I want to do more. And the average human being looks at your physique or his physique or whatever, and is like, how the fuck can you get in? Like, what do you do differently? You're like a Greek god, right? These guys like that work out. I see these guys at the gym, and I'm like, dude, you're done, right? You're crazy. Like, what? But They want more. And I think that's actually a mentality. I think that what's cool about this, and this is kind of what I want to talk about today, is like paralleling the mentality of fitness with the mentality of everything else. Because it really is a mentality. Because most people are not happy. Most people are broke.
Right.
Most people don't have a thriving relationship. Most people's bodies are not anywhere close to what they want. I'm noticing the more I get in shape, the better I look, the better everything else is.
Right.
Like there's all these parallels. You know what I mean? So I'm sure that you could probably say the same thing. Like the better you do in fitness, the more you strive, the more you push, the better you are in your relationship.
Yeah.
It helps your relationship.
Yeah. And it gives you other opportunities to be successful as well, if you capitalize on it, which, you know, you've got to have the right instruction even in that area, I think. Just as like you can't just go at fitness with no education and expect these grand results.
Yeah.
Like it's always important to have a trainer in so many different aspects of life.
See, my friends, I think you've heard me talk maybe once or twice or 4,972 times about having a coach and hiring a coach. It's something I'm always talking to people about.
Financially and fitness-wise, right?
A relationship coach. I just hired a relationship coach about a month ago because I want to understand relationships better. I want to know more about them. I want to go deeper into them. And so I found somebody that I see is kind of living what I see. It's the same thing with a financial coach. Like I always tell my clients when they say, how do I find a coach? Find somebody doing what you want to be doing and hire them and pay them money to teach you how to get what they've accomplished.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So talk about that like the mentality of fitness, the mentality, like how did you make the change from I'm just going to go to the gym and walk on the treadmill and check out Instagram and whatever to like I'm going to be a fucking badass?
I started that way. I think, you know, when I was out of like probably my worst shape of my life, I was probably like 21, 22. And with my ex-husband, and I just didn't recognize my body. I would look in the mirror and I was like, who is this person? And so what I first thought was like, I should start running. Like, I think a lot of people go there because it's easy and you think, oh, everyone that's running is thin. So I started running. I did half marathons, probably like 5. And I got a little smaller, but my body looked the same. It was like a skinnier version of my soft, in shape body. So the next jump was like, I was looking at fitness magazines and was like, I want to look like this. How am I going to get there? And so I, met some friends at the gym. There's a couple guys that told me I should do a show. I had no idea what that was at the time. And so they were like, oh yeah, you wear a 2-piece suit and you get on stage. And I was like, oh heck no, I'm not going to do that. Cause that's like overwhelming, especially when you don't look the way you want to look. Yeah. So I thought, well, maybe I'll pretend like it, but I'll just find this coach. So they're like, we'll introduce you to our coach. They introduced me to their coach, which was Justin. And I started training with him the next day. Like I didn't, wait. I was like, hey, I'm going to do this. After applying his instructions, which there's so many things, like you can learn so much, but the second you don't apply all the information you've been given, you're not going to make those changes. So I saw results within 6 weeks, like crazy, awesome. Because before I was just running, which I stopped running. I figured out that wasn't really good for my body. I'd start limping and it just was tearing down my joints. But some people are made to run, not me. And then once I started seeing those changes, I competed in my first show and I won the overall. So of course that hooked me because I found something, with all the proper instruction, finding a coach that I listened to. A lot of people will hire a coach, but then they'll ask a million other people different advice. At the same time, they're paying a coach. It's like, if you're paying a coach, trust in that coach, do what he says, do what she says, whatever it is. And then if you see results, then you can continue on, but they will learn your physique. I've been coached by Justin for 10 years now. So I trust him as a coach. I know he's my husband too, but when we are coach-client relationship, I trust what he says. I do what he says. And it's obviously paid off because I've gone from competing at the local high school show back in 2008 to stepping on the Olympia stage now. This will be my 4th time. I've competed at the Arnold Classic 6 times, 6 years in a row.
Is that a big deal? You're talking to somebody that doesn't know anything about that. So talk about like that achievement. Like, what does that mean? Like Arnold Classic, Olympia, like that's basically like the best of the best, right?
Yeah.
In
So
like,
I think that Olympia is considered like the Super Bowl of the sport, or, that Game 7 in the NBA playoffs, or, whatever sport you want to look at, it's the top of the top. It's the one show that every athlete in this industry or striving to be in this industry is looking to go to. So the Olympia, that's what it is. Mr. Olympia is like the winner of the Super Bowl. Same with Miss Figure Olympia, which is what I do, is figure. The Arnold Classic, it's up there too. It's probably right next to the Olympia. It's the unique thing about it's international, where they invite athletes from around the world to compete, and it's invitation only. So, the top 15 athletes, however their committee decides who to invite, gets to go. And I've been fortunate to be invited 6 years in a row, and I've placed in the top 6 every year. So it's amazing, and it's really like an honor because, I know so many girls not only just trying to get to that level, but already at that level still trying to get to that show or these 2 shows, which I think, every time I go, I just feel grateful and honored, and it makes me want to work harder.
Yeah. It's funny because, like, I was talking to Justin about this morning, and it's something that just keeps showing up, like, in my space, like this conversation about, like, coaches and stuff. And people think just because that's what I do, that's all I talk about.
Right.
Like, I have coaches, right? Like,
Yeah.
I have a fitness coach, and I have a relationship coach, and I've got a business coach. And what's funny is I find, like, as a coach, with paralleling what you're talking about, so many people are so interested in consuming information, and it's good, but the application is what works.
Right.
Like, the application is what gets you there. Whether you want to talk about relationships, you can read all of the Brene Browns and David Dees and all of these great relationship books and the love languages and all these other things. But until you actually apply what you learn, you're never going to have the relationship that you, 1, want, or 2, could build.
Right.
It's the same thing with a coach. Like, I pay my coach, my fitness coach, because 1, I don't want to worry about
what to do.
I show up at the gym, I'm like, cool, what are we doing? And he just kicks my ass.
Yeah.
That's how it's always been, right? And I like that. I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, and I shouldn't say go wrong, but where a lot of people struggle is they feel like they have to, you go buy this $10 membership to Gold's or to Vasa or whatever these gyms are that are just walk-in Planet Fitness, and people just kind of are looking at hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pieces of equipment and treadmills and ellipticals, and it's like, what do I do? Well, this is what I think I should do.
Yeah, it's
whatever.
overwhelming.
And a coach, like, makes it so bloody simple.
Right.
Like, it believe it or not, we could talk about the money and the whole aspect of things, but it's the simplicity in life is what I think brings us the most peace, the most joy. And I know from like a fitness conversation, keeping shit really, really simple. So many people do so much stuff, and there's so many diets, and there's so many things, and there's so many ideas, and there's so many this and so many that. And yet I find that the more I do like core exercises, like you could literally build an amazing physique with like squats and deadlifts and all. I mean, a lot of these
Simple stuff.
simple things, right?
Kind.
Eating healthy food, eating chicken, eating fish, eating vegetables, like real shit, not like in a plastic package that's frozen in the freezer section, but
Right.
like real stuff that's growing. It's so simple, but yet we've created so much complexity. Now, granted, there's a business behind it and whatever label you put on there, but like, talk about that, like your concept of coaching, like how that works, because it's obviously a little jaded now because you're in a relationship with your coach, which is cool. But hiring a coach, having a coach, how much easier does it make your life?
Oh yeah, I mean, well, it's very simple. I mean, you still have to do all the work.
Level. Like,
right.
That's what's interesting. You're at an elite level, and I talk about this frequently. Like, Oprah has a coach.
Yeah.
I mean, presidents, heads of states, CEOs, multi-billionaires, multi-millionaires have business coaches and stuff. You're at that elite level, and you're still saying, I want a coach, I need a coach. And even though I'm the one doing the work and I'm the one showing up and getting the awards and winning, when my coach says something, I shut up and I
Just do it.
do what I hired this person to do, right?
Right. Well, because I think we ourselves can be either too critical or too lax on our own physiques or our own goals. Like, we'll have a great day and we'll look good and, maybe step on the scale and you're like, oh, I'm doing so good. And then you relax a little bit. Or maybe you feel like you're not having a good day and you're not happy with the way your results are. So then you try and push hard and then you overwork yourself. So to take that component out and not, like you said, not have to think about it, you just trust in this person. They give you all of the formula to get to your goal. Just do the work. And then they look at you with a second pair of eyes and they test you and they have factual data to change up your program or whatever it is according to your goal. And they make adjustments accordingly instead of you having to think about it and criticize your own self. I mean, I just think coaches, like you said, in every aspect, it's work and you have to put in the work and you have to listen and you absorb the information and apply it. Just like relationships. I mean, you can get tons of relationship advice or coaching, like reading a book, but the second you don't apply it, it's not going to help you at all. And it's the same with any type of fitness coach. If you're a little bit lazy or, you're making excuses of why you had this cheat meal or why you didn't eat this, or then you're not going to get the results. And in the end, what did you pay a coach for if you don't listen?
Yeah.
But every NBA player has a coach, football. I mean, there's coaches everywhere.
I was talking about this the other day. Like, I went to every year I go to a Yankees game. And we went to the Yankees-Red Sox game not too long ago. And I'm there before the game starts and having a beer and whatever, which is, of course, approved by my fitness coach.
It's a high-carb day.
The hot dog wasn't, nor were the nachos, but whatever. I'm sitting there and I'm watching all of these players, and I mean, the best baseball players on the planet are on this field. Like, the best of the best. It's the Yankees and the Red Sox. Like, the two most expensive franchises in all of Major League Baseball with the highest paid rosters of any team in Major League Baseball. And literally all of these athletes that are worth hundreds of millions of dollars are all literally doing the exact same thing. They're all warming up. The coach is hitting balls with the fungo bat and doing the deal. They're all literally doing the exact same thing that every single high school kid and college kid is doing nationwide. And they're all doing the simple fundamentals. They're all doing the basics. But all of those guys have a coach. And in the NFL, you have a lineman coach and a quarterback coach and a wide receiver coach and a fullback coach and a this coach and that coach. And then you have the head coach and you have the assistant coach and you have all these coaches. And, like, this is like universal principle.
Right.
I mean, this is a universal principle. So many people talk about, well, dude, I'm just going to man up and do it. Okay, cool. How's that worked for you for the last 5 years or 10 years or while you're fat and while you're still broke?
Right.
Like, how's it worked for your relationship to say, well, fuck it, I'm just going to burn it to the ground every single time, and you're on your third marriage? With your body, I mean, you can do 1,000 curls, and if you're not getting the result that you want, then maybe you should have somebody teach you how to do it differently. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's fascinating, the idea and the concept of the definition of insanity is banging your head against the wall over and over and over again, trying to get a different result.
Right.
I think the definition of stupidity is watching someone getting huge results in whatever field it is.
Right.
And not copying exactly what the fuck they're doing.
Right.
Like,
Everyone's afraid to copy.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. You're watching someone build a business and you're watching them do it this way, and this way, completely contrary to what you're doing, and you're like, fuck that. I'm just going to keep grinding on what I'm doing. And it's like, okay, cool. How's that working for you? You're going to the gym. You have the membership. You've Googled every freaking workout there is to Google. You bought all the DVDs and the late night infomercials and the whole thing, but you have shit results. Mm-hmm. How's it working for you? At some point in time, like, literally the definition of stupidity is watching somebody get huge results and not copying what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, and have you seen, like, some people go into it and they get a coach, they hire him, they're like, oh, this is hard. So they go, I want a different coach, someone that's going to make it easier.
Yeah.
Well, why? You're not willing to put in the hard work it takes? Or, like, because, everyone, or you see other people's getting the results that you want, and then you try it, it's too hard for you.
Why
so you're going to quit, and you're going to try and go to a different coach.
I mean, you see it in fitness.
Yeah.
I'm sure being a coach and coaching women, and why do you think that is?
It kind of just blows my mind because I haven't been that type of person. I know with some people, they jump from goal to goal, or I just think it's a lack of drive, a lack of motivation, or a lack of belief that they can achieve something because it's so hard. They're like, I don't want to do that. It's too hard. But then they really do. They're just convincing themselves that they don't have the work ethic to do it. So they find someone else that's going to feed them full of bull crap and say, no, do it this way. I won't make you do any cardio. I'll be your coach. Because they're saying what they want to hear. And so they're like, okay, I'm going to go with this coach because it's not as hard.
Right.
But then you know what? Where's the results? And I'm not saying every coach is for every person, because there is chemistry between you and a trainer, whatever coach in life you go with, whether it be business or relationship or fitness. You can have people that you really click with, and then other people you just don't. But it shouldn't be about because it's hard with them. They will hold you accountable. And if you don't like that accountability, good luck getting any results anywhere.
Dude, that's obviously, you being a fitness, that entire conversation wrapped around fitness is like so ridiculously profound, but so few people get what you just said and like really understand it. It's like, in order to achieve financial success, it will take work. It will take a lot of work. People hear this word entrepreneur.
Right.
Dude, I want to be an entrepreneur because money just falls out of your mailbox and like it just shows up. And I see all of these entrepreneurs traveling the world and riding horses and doing fun shit. And that's what I want to do. So I'm going to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I started my own little business and I'm working 20 hours a day and having to grind and hustle to build this thing up and do whatever. This fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Well, the truth is it's actually a lot easier to be a 9-to-5 employee than it is to be an entrepreneur. I know because I've done both, and it's way easier to just get a check every 2 weeks and have health insurance and medical this covered and that covered and your 2 weeks of paid vacation than it is to actually start something and have to put your blood, sweat, and tears into it. It's the same thing in fitness.
Yep.
It's the same thing in relationships. Like it's not easy. No. And I think this is the thing that people got to get through their fucking head is that when they go, then you show up and it's hard. You know you're on the right track. And I think in the coaching, being a coach, and I know that you'd probably say the same thing, is I see a lot of coaches that are all about like the high fives and the ass pats.
Yeah.
And I dude, believe me, you do the work, you get the result. I will high five your ass all day long. I'll buy you a nice bottle of whiskey. God bless America. And I'll pat your ass all day long and say, good job. But at the end of the day, people are looking for that. They're looking to be told that all is well in Zion, and all is not well in Zion. You're fat, you're miserable, you're out of shape. And I truly believe, because this is the kind of coach that I am, like I'm going to punch you in the face if you need to be punched in the face.
Yeah.
And people have to be, in my opinion, because these are the kind of coaches that I want. I want people that aren't going to be like, oh, dude, you're doing so good. And, you know, your excuses are okay because I totally understand and whatever. I want people to hold me accountable. Like, no, motherfucker, you made a commitment to do this.
Yeah.
You made a commitment to do this. And I know that like today, there was tons of excuses that were going through my brain. We did this circuit with the legs and the whole thing, and it fucking sucked. And last time we did it, we did 2 rounds, and I'm like, okay, sweet, cool, we're good. Like he's like, we're gonna do the same workout. I'm like, great. So I got through the first and then the second, and my mind's like, oh, dude, your knees bugging you, bit the whole thing. And he's like, all right, take another break. We're gonna do another one. And I'm like, oh, dude, no, you know, I think the dog might have got out of the yard. I better go get him and the whole thing. To get results is fucking hard. Mm-hmm. It's really, 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 really hard work. But what I'm finding, what's fascinating is the more you do the hard work becomes easier. And then you have a whole new level of hard work. Then there's a whole new level of whatever, like the basics. Why guys are playing Major League Baseball is not because they're extraordinarily, some of them are talented and gifted, and there's some people with like great DNA and genetics that make them whatever. But I would absolutely plant my flag on the fact that the people that are at the top of the game, the people that do very, very well in fitness, the people that do very, very well in business, the people that do very, very well in athletics and basketball and football and baseball, they have mastered the fucking basics.
Yes.
They don't struggle with the diet and like, oh, dude, what do I do? And that sucks, whatever. They're like, these are the fucking basics. If I want A, this is what I have to do. If I want this is what I have to do. And they've become practitioners at the basics. And a good coach, like, do you tell your people to, like, do 87 freaking double unders while they're on the roof, while they're like juggling freaking shit? No,
like if they're going to be in Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, exactly.
That's about it.
Which I don't know anything about that, but that would be really cool to watch. So if you ever do that, call me because I'd love to film
I wouldn't coach that. I would send him to someone
exactly
more
because you're a good coach.
Right.
But I bet every freaking piece of candy that I have in my house right now on the fact that you probably focus a lot on the basics with your clients.
Yeah.
Like the proper diet, the proper nutrition, and really simple fundamental aspects of working out, of fitness.
Yeah. Well, and you brought up a good point with it being hard and then having a coach that's not just, the yes man. Because even as Justin, I remember clear back to my first show, and I just had finished my second session of cardio, and I came and I just started crying, and he's like patting me on the back. He's all, you know what? This means you're right on track. If it wasn't hard, you're not doing stuff right. So there's been many profound moments like that between the two of us. And just because he's my husband doesn't mean he's nice about everything when it comes to my fitness goals.
Sure.
He's there to push me, and he's there to tell me where I need to improve. And I listen, and I don't harbor resentment towards him, because he's my coach for that reason. And so when you have coaches that are like that just tell you honestly and make you face the reality of what you're going through instead of getting you out of your excuses in your mind, then that's a good coach. That doesn't mean, oh, he's not a yes man and he's not telling you it's okay to do all this stuff because, you had a bad day, and we all have that. No, the reality is he's there to get you to your goal. If you don't like what he's saying, you're never going to reach your goal.
Right. It doesn't matter who you hire.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you hire. At some point in time, there has to be the accountability. I had this conversation with my coach this morning. We had our coaching call this morning. And, that's what she talked about with me is like, at some point in time, you have to take accountability for you. At some point in time, you have to stop and look at you and say, okay, I've had all of these experiences, and a lot of them end up the same way. Mm-hmm. And I've blamed him and her and her and him and him and him and this and this and this and the market and the this and the this. But at some point in time, you got to stop and be like, okay, is there a possibility that it's me? Is there a possibility that I might have a hand in all of this? And I think to me what transitioned and what shifted for me in my own personal experience, after my divorce, after my bankruptcy, was me getting to the point where I realized I knew what I didn't know.
Right.
And I got to that point, and it kind of woke me up where I was like, okay, I'm banging my head against the wall and I'm not getting a different result. I might have to swallow my pride. This alpha male guy, whatever, might have to say I need help and I don't know. And I did that. And that's when my life changed. That's when stuff shifted for me. And I see that with people. I mean, you see it on all these big weight loss shows, like The Biggest Loser or whatever they are, where people just get to that point where something switches in their brain, where they kind of snap, if you will, or whatever. Yeah. When they're like, this fucking sucks and I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
And it's not an actual bullshit lie like it's been for years and years and years and years that we've made an excuse and excuse and excuse. Well, mom and dad and my genes and this and that and the other. It becomes a true shift where you say, I don't want this anymore. And that's where I think people, they're not willing to go there. They're not willing to have those hard conversations, and blaming everything on somebody else is really, really simple for why they're fat, why they're broke, why their marriage sucks, and why all these things are happening. How do you get to that point in the fitness world? When you're coaching people, how do you help people get there as a coach?
I think just being honest with them, trying to break down. And you know what? Maybe it's another component in their life that's affecting their fitness, So they have to recognize that, it could be relationship issues or instabilities. And so you have to kind of, and I guess everything, there's balance, but you've got to kind of check every aspect and be like, what is it about my life that's keeping me from reaching any goal, and especially fitness? And, I, even working with some girls, I have a lot of girls that are really hard on themselves, and they stress out so much because they maybe had one Hershey kiss. And I'm like, seriously, the stress is doing more damage than that one piece. If you feel like you wanted something to keep balance and you needed some chocolate, whatever, do extra cardio, because ultimately that is going to keep you happier and more sane and not beating yourself up and totally sabotaging all of your progress because one little thing that happened that you can't change at this point. So you've got to go back and go, okay, let that go. Just move forward and keep going towards your goal. Everyone's going to have down falls, whether it be, business or relationship or fitness, And you need some balance. And so you need to kind of plan it out, because really stress and anxiety and depression is going to take you way further from your goal than just letting it go. I think dwelling on the past, even just a past cheat meal or something that you're like, oh, I binged on this and now screw the whole week.
Yeah.
Then you just start spiraling out of control.
I don't worry about the one Hershey Kiss. It's when I wake up and there's half a bag that are like scattered all over the bed. And I'm like, what happened last night? And then I feel like that's when I should get concerned. I agree. And I think the one of the interesting things that, again, parallels that is, well, I tried this before, I did this diet before, I hired this trainer, or I went to this gym and I didn't get results. Didn't happen. Like, it's never going to happen. I'm just bound to be in this position. You hear this a lot in business.
Yeah.
I tried and I failed, and I tried and failed. I mean, shit, I was extraordinarily successful at a young age and then lost everything. And if I kept in that idea that, in fact, this is one of the coolest turning points for me, was when I hired my coach. Like, I had done all these real estate transactions, and literally to this day, very few people on this planet have ever done what I did when flipping houses and the whole thing. But I was like, dude, I just fucked everything up. I burned everything to the ground. I'm just this total screw up. And it was interesting. I was having this conversation with my coach one day, and he's like, you're right, you did. You burned everything to the ground. You fucked a lot of things up. You lost millions of dollars. But here's the truth. You've still done more real estate transactions than most people on this planet.
Right.
Period. And I was like, huh. And it was that conversation that shifted a lot of things for me. I started looking at my past differently. You know, the title of my book that I'm writing right now, and eventually maybe within the next 150 years I'll finish it, which it's actually pretty much done. But it is, your mess is your message. Mm-hmm. And I look back at all of these experiences and things, and if you really stop and look at it and think about it, it's all a platform for moving forward.
Right.
You know, I was fat, now I'm not, or I was fat and then got really good shape and now I'm not, and I was wealthy and I lost a bunch of money, or I had a great marriage and then I lied and I cheated and now it's not. And it's like, okay, cool. At one point in time, the fact is you did this or you had this, and that's true. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, if I made millions before and then lost it all, who's to say I can't make it again?
Right.
The only person is me. If I was on the diet and did the deal and and then got pregnant, had a kid, had a surgery, blew my knee out, lost tons of money, and then got fat, that's fine. But the truth is that you were here and you can do that again. That's something that I really think a lot of people have like a misconception about, is their current lot is their lot.
Right.
Like your current situation, that's it. That's the reality of right now. Like you're talking about, you're not fat because you ate the one Hershey Kiss. You're fat because you've been eating like shit for 12 months and you haven't freaking gotten your fat ass off the couch.
Right.
You're broke not because you had to pay taxes yesterday. You're broke because you didn't do anything 12 months ago. I think what's really unique about, especially fitness, like going in with Justin and starting working with Justin, I've been working out with another trainer for a year and have gotten really, really, really good results and been really happy. But in coming in with him, it was a completely different thing.
Yeah.
And so it was like, oh, dude, I'm doing this and I'm benching this and all this other bullshit. And he's like, okay, well, let's do it my way. Now, this is what you want to do. Here's what we're going to do. And I started doing a bunch of different shit that I'm not used to doing. And I'm like totally sucking. I'm like, this fucking sucks, man. I suck. But I'm realizing that like, this is where I am and this is where I want to go. Mm-hmm. And even though I've lost millions of dollars, even though I'm fat and I'm out of shape and I'm not this, like the point is that I've been there and I can do it again. And I think making that mental shift in, I've had a baby, I'm this, there's all of these other things, like making that mental shift of saying, I was hot as shit, I'm going back to that, or I'm going to create something even better than that now, is really, really, really powerful. It's really important for people to do that, but so few people do. They think my current lot right now is all there is.
Right.
It's what I'm destined for. It's what I'm bound to. I don't believe that at all.
No, I think those are the more motivating stories, to say this is where I was, I lost everything, and then I came back and this is where I am now. And I mean, you see it in so many, successful people across America that have gone through those. I mean, how many times did Bill Gates fell, or you know, everybody falls, they get back up, they progress, they keep going, and that's what's motivating, and that's what, you know, having that drive is what's going to get you that success, and it's going to, you know, motivate other people in your life as well to say you're not just going to give up. I say the time is going to pass regardless.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Because if you think about, okay, you're out of shape now, in 12 months, are you still going to be out of shape? Or are you going to be like, well, let's see where, you know, what I can do in the next, like, there's no hurry. The time is passing. You're either working towards goals or you're just staying the same or going backwards.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't think there is staying the same. I think you're either progressing or you're going backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the old saying, idle time is the devil's workshop. I totally believe that. I think that people are either moving forward emotionally, psychologically, physically, in their relationships, in their business, or they're moving backwards, period. Because sitting there doing nothing is literally like doing nothing. It's not progressing you anywhere. How do people do that? Like, what would you say to somebody right now listening to this who's like, oh, well, she's got it easy, or she did it, or all this other bullshit, which, of course, there's going to be tons of people who are going to say that anyways. Oh, Sean, you had it easy. They don't fucking they have no clue how dark it was when I went from millionaire, young, successful guy to moving out of a 9,000 square foot house into a 2-bedroom apartment, like getting rid of the friggin' cars and driving a cheap ass friggin' beat up pickup truck. People have no fucking clue how dark it was. There's only one way to pull myself out of that. There's only one person that could do it. But what would you say to people right now, especially in the fitness world? Somebody who's like miserable, out of shape, had a kid, did this, did that. Like, what would you say to them?
Well, it's not too late. I mean, people do tell me stuff all the time like, oh, but you've always been in shape, or you have the genetics for it. You know, no, I have heavy people in my family. You don't know my genetics and how hard I work every day to maintain even as the shape I'm in now, let alone getting contest lean and shredded. But it's so much work. And so, but it's not too late is what I would tell them. Take it one day at a time. Don't think of the grand picture, you know, have something that motivates you every day, because you don't want to look at the end result and think how long it's going to take you to get there. You want to take it one step at a time and work towards that. And if you have one little failure, it's not the end of the world. It's going to be pick it right back up. Not the next day, the next hour.
Right.
That's the best advice I can give, because I've been there and I've had shows where it was harder for me, and that might sound silly, but it doesn't always just come easy, especially even on you know, on every level. It's a lot of work, and you're either going to give up or you're going to keep going. Well,
and it's funny because people look at the finished product. They look at Bill Gates, or they look at, you know, Donald Trump, or they look at you, or Mr. Olympia, or, you know, the baseball player, and they're like, this is the finished product, and it was easy for them, or they got lucky, and they didn't see the thousands and thousands and thousands of hours that went into getting there. This is why I firmly believe, like, we worry about, and we try and eat the whole elephant.
Yeah.
Like oh, dude, I'm going to go to the gym, and I'm going to buy all the fitness clothes, and I'm going to bust my ass. I'm going to go 8 hours a day to look like her. Shit, I did it for a week, and I'm still not there. Fuck it, this is bullshit. Right. And they walk away from that. The same thing, I'm going to grind. I'm going to work 20-hour days for the next week to make $1 million. Well, dude, guys have been working 20-hour days for 10 years, and they're now making their millions. What's interesting to me is I see successful people, and one of the things that I've been really focused on myself is I just call it the 1 degree of change. Yeah. Like, if you think about an airplane flying in one direction, if he makes a 1 degree change in 1,000 miles, he's in a completely different location. If I made a 1 degree change right now, today in my life, where would I be in 12 months? And it's not eating a whole elephant.
Right.
Take case in point. If you're listening to this and you're broke as shit, if you don't have $1, let's say you literally have $0. Tomorrow, if you had $1, that's a massive fucking increase. Oh, but it's only $1 and I can't even buy. Shut the fuck up and listen. Like, $1 is more than $0. $2 is now double what you had 2 days ago. Mm-hmm. People don't think this way. They think I've got to have $1 billion, $1 million. I see all these Instagram pictures. I see all this shit, and I have to have all of this in order to be successful. If you're broke as shit and you don't have 2 nickels to rub together, having a nickel tomorrow, having 1 nickel is a massive step in the right direction. And it puts you mentality-wise in a direction, in a mindset of, what if I just did that again? And what if I did that again? What if my goal was to literally make $1 a day? What would I have at the end of 7 days? What would I have at the end of 14 days? You went from $0 to $7 in 1 week. Like, the same thing in fitness. Some people are listening to this that haven't they literally break a sweat walking down to the mailbox because they're so freaking out of shape. It's not too late.
No.
I'm too far gone. It's too hard. It's too whatever. Imagine if you're a dude listening to this and you were fat as shit, you were out of shape. Imagine what it would be like tomorrow if you woke up and did 1 push-up.
Yeah.
What would it be like if then the next day you did 2 push-ups and then 3 push-ups and then 4 push-ups? What would it look like if instead of eating pizza for 3 straight meals, you said, I'm going to eat half a pizza for breakfast tomorrow and then no pizza the following day? Or I fucking don't eat any greens and I went from 0 to I ate 1 cup of freaking broccoli today. People don't think this way. This, my friends, is the recipe for fucking success. I'm telling you, as the Almighty is my witness. If you make a 1 degree change, a 1 degree change in your fitness, in your marriage, in your relationship, in your business, watch what happens when you compound that. Watch what happens in 6 months with you going from literally, I can't even barely function as a human being because I'm so out of shape and I'm so delirious. What would happen if you went and did 1 sit-up tomorrow and 1 push-up tomorrow, and then the next day you do 2? What would happen if you're broke and you went from $0 to $1 and then $2 and then $3? I don't think people really understand this. They think and they see you. Dude, it's easy. I want to do all of that in the next 5 minutes, and they can't. What they don't realize is that you didn't start off doing what you do in your workouts at the end of your training. You started doing much, 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 much simpler, easier, smaller shit.
Well, exactly. I mean, and it's taken me 10 years of doing consistent work in the gym to look the way I look now. So I didn't have this much muscle mass 10 years ago. I wasn't as, I don't think the diet came as easy, but I pushed through, and now it's like, it's a no-brainer. It's like second nature because I've applied it for year after year after year, month after month. And I think your why, though, I mean, you probably know or heard or said this a million people, but what's your why behind it? You know, because that's gonna, if you don't have a strong enough why you're doing it, then you're always gonna find an excuse of why not.
Yeah. Well, most people, they lie about that too.
Right.
Like when I interview guys from the Lions Not Sheep experience or coaching or anything like that, the very first question I ask people is, what do you want? Well, I want freedom. Okay, cool. What does that mean? But you start digging into these questions and most people have no fucking clue, or it ends up being something completely different. You know, what do you want? I want to make a lot of money. Why? Because I want freedom. Okay, what does that mean? Well, I just want to be able to do whatever I want, whatever I want. Well, you kind of do that now, right? Like, does anybody force you to go to work? Does anybody force you to get out of bed? Does anybody force you to wear that pair of shoes or drive that car? No one does. So literally right here, right now, you are literally doing everything that you want to be doing. You're consciously choosing all of these things. Yeah. So if you already are doing what you want, what do you really want? Well, and then it starts getting people into like deeper thought processes, which is, I don't feel good about myself, or I want something different, or I hate my fucking job, or I'm sick of like being a fat ass for my kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think people digging into these truths and really understanding like what you said, their why is a massive thing. What's your why? What's your why?
I knew that was coming. Well, originally my why was I wanted to look the way I would see people look on magazines, and then my why switched to, well, I want to do it because the goal of competing at the top and just proving to myself I could get there. And then it switched to, I want it to be a way of educating my own family and being an example to my own kids. And then it's turned into a business, and my why is to drive business and success and lead it more into a fitness career. I mean, I'm a cosmetologist too, but I tell people all the time I went from a cosmetologist with the hobby of competing or bodybuilding, and now my career is bodybuilding and my hobby is cosmetology. So, and I still love, you know, what my trade, which is doing hair. I do that because I want to do it and I love it. But my why changes, and it's family based. I think it's being able to support my kids, to inspire other women to get in shape, and to teach and educate people that just think, oh, I could never look like that. I get that all the time. Well, you haven't had kids yet. Well, it doesn't mean when I do, I'm going to look like crap. I promise you that. I'll prove it, you know? And I think there's always it's evolving. Your why is always evolving to the next level of what's going to get you to that next level. You
don't do the workouts that you do with the idea of, oh, I want to inspire somebody with this rep. You don't do that. That's bullshit.
To inspire. Well,
like,
I mean,
I do it because I want to inspire people. No.
I want to look good.
What's behind all that? What's deeper? Like, why? What's your why for competing at the top level? I mean, you're not just doing it to like show your kids one time. You know what I mean? Like, I'd like to tell people that I bought my race truck and did all that for my son. I didn't. It's because I'm a competitive son of a bitch, and I want to fucking win. And that's like every man's dream, is to drive off, well, at least I think most dudes' dream, to drive in the dirt as fast as humanly possible with the very real possibility of death or insanity. I love that shit. I live for that shit. I thrive for that shit. One of the attributes was spending more time with my son.
Right.
Like, that was definitely one of the things. So I know you're not doing reps saying, oh, I hope Sally sees this one rep and she's so inspired and motivated. Like, why the fuck do you compete so hard and at the top level?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's similar. I'm competitive. I always, you know, as a kid amongst 6 siblings growing up, I think there may be more than that actually, but I'm losing track of my brothers and sisters. I just knew I was destined for something great. And I didn't know how. I tried so many sports that, you know, I'm not uncoordinated, but, you know, I've never found my niche. And once I found competing and lifting weight, and I found that I have the work ethic to do it. And I could do it. And I didn't need all of the politics behind me. And I know there's politics in everything, but, you know, it's just fun to prove that, you know what, I can do this because I have the drive. And it's given me self-control in so many aspects of my life. It's shown me, like, in eating, in time management, in financial situations. I think all of that has come from just fitness for me. And it's turned me into a better person all around and a more balanced person all around.
So fitness has made, one of your whys be that it's just made you better.
Yeah.
And you feel better when you perform better and look better and operate better.
Exactly.
What would you say to like a lot of people listening to this are probably fat. I'm not going to say no offense because it's just how you are, and that's what your choice has been. There's probably a lot of people listening to this that are broke, that you know, don't have 2 nickels to rub together. Cool, that's your choice. Like, we've had the conversation about it's where you are, and I'm not judging you. It's just what it is. What would you say to people like right now that are listening to this that are like, I want to go do that? Like, what's the first step? Practical. Like, I love practicality. I love like tangible. Just go write it on your bathroom mirror and stare at it for 6 hours every single morning. Bullshit. I got shit written on my bathroom mirror, but I actually get my ass dressed and I leave my house and I go do shit to get in shape. And I'm not talking physique, posing, Mr. Olympia kind of shape. For the people listening right now that are like, I can hang up, I could leave this call, I can push stop, I can shut YouTube down and go do something. What would you say would be the best step for people to go do?
You mean like the first step of getting in shape?
Yeah. Somebody who's like, you know what, this motivated me. I'm inspired. I've been motivated by 1,000 other things. I love practical application. I love giving people tools. Like you were talking about before, like your coach gives you all this stuff. I compare it to hunting with your flip-flops. Like you have a quiver with arrows that are all these tools of all these books that we've read, right? Of how to have a good relationship, what to say, what not to say, what to do, what not to do. All of these business practical tools of this whatever. and we're going to go out and we're going to go hunt every day, and we see the deer and it's right in front of us, and we freaking throw our flip-flops at him and expect that we're going to be fed and we're going to eat and we're going to be full. It's fucking retarded. It's stupid.
Right.
Why not pull the arrow out that you know works, that's practical, that's real, you know what I mean? If your relationship sucks and you keep doing the same dumb shit like throwing your flip-flop, there's no wonder that you're not eating, you're not full. In fitness, we have all the tools. We know what they are. Like, what would you have people do that are listening right now? Like, right when they get off of this, what would be the very first thing that you would coach people on who just say, I want to lose 50 pounds, or I want to stop being achy and pains and whatever, and I want to get control of this one aspect of my life, my fitness?
Well, I mean, I would say hire a coach, to be honest,
God,
that has
America.
all
You're
of
so smart.
the information for you.
Yeah.
Because it's like anything. If you don't have the information, you're not going to get there. You can't just go off of your own mind, or you would already be in shape.
Mm-hmm.
So
I wish I could add to that. I would echo that 1,000%.
Yeah.
Even if it's one time a week, even if it's like
Figure out.
down at the local gym, which every time I go to Gold's or Voss, I laugh at all the trainers there, but
Don't
no
go.
offense to any of them. No, but here's the thing. That's a 1 degree shift.
Right.
I know you and I say don't go there because they're a bunch of they're weird. Oh my God, I saw a guy almost die at Gold's
Scary.
Gym in California, and this girl was like training him on bench press, and I'm like, holy shit, like he's gonna hurt himself, but I don't want to inject. But let's leave that aside.
Okay.
And realize that there's somebody listening that hasn't worked out, that wants to go do something today or tomorrow. Go hire that shitty trainer. That's a big difference between what you're doing right now. That's a major change. That's a 1 degree change. Even if it's for a week or a month or whatever it is, hire a coach. I would 150% agree with that, because one, that commits you to it. Two, you put your money on the line. When you put your money on the line, you typically value what you invest in.
Exactly.
But it's a change. It's a change, and you can go hire a trainer for $40 an hour, $50 an hour, $25 an hour. You know what I mean? A good coach is obviously much more expensive than that, but create that 1 degree of change and go hire a coach.
Yep. Get that coach.
I wish there was like a magic pill. I know that they're all over late night infomercials of, if you take this pill, your muscles are just going to bulge out of your freaking shirt, and you're going to be ripped, and you're going to have money falling from trees, and sex is going to be amazing, the whole thing. But it's actually going to take work. It actually is going to take work in every aspect of your life. And I think, without question, one of the best decisions that I ever made was to hire a trainer for my fitness.
Yeah.
Since my MMA days, I hired a trainer for when I was fighting. I hired a trainer to help me learn how to do my Ironman. I had no freaking clue how to swim. Like, yeah, everybody can jump in the pool and go back and forth on family vacation, but how in the hell am I going to swim 2.4 miles and do that? I hired a coach. Decided that I wanted to get in shape afterwards and like maintain something. I hired a coach. I think a lot of people too have the misconception that it's crazy expensive, but when you look at the dividend paid, it goes back to what we were very first talking about. Like,
right.
Every area is connected. And the better you look, the better you feel. The better you feel, the more pizzazz, the more mojo, the more swag you have. I don't care who you are, but some of the top paid people have massive amounts of confidence. They've got swag.
Yes.
I mean, plain and simple. We can make fun of Donald Trump's hair all day long, but when he walks into the room, he's like, what, motherfuckers? He's got swag, right? And
right.
He might look funny and we might make fun of him, but the dude is a multi-billionaire and he's got swag.
Yes.
Period. You know what I mean? I completely agree. I think step number 1 would be hire a coach. How do you find a good coach? How would you find a good fitness coach?
Well, I mean, you can ask around and, get people's advice and consult with those coaches. A lot of, sometimes you might have to pay a consulting fee just to talk over your goals. If not, some of them will do it for free, but just to see what they can offer, what fits in your budget, and, when you can start. But there's always social media, or there's the internet.
There's this crazy thing called Facebook, which connects you to hundreds of millions of people. I've tried it once or twice.
Yeah.
And it seems to work really, really well. Like when I ask people a question, how do I find this?
Okay.
Who should I hire for this? It's amazing. I get tons of people that will tell me. And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even know about that person, or that person existed,
Yeah.
Google, whatever. Totally agree. What should people look for in a coach? I think this is a big question, because I've been jaded by a lot of not just coaches, but I'm jaded in a lot of things, period, like chiropractors. I think they're quacks. I think they're total bullshit. And here's why I say that is because I've had really, really, really bad experiences with them.
Right.
And 7 months ago, I jacked up my hip really bad. Like I could barely walk. Was it the sciatic nerve? Was it the performance? The whole thing. And I had like 3 people recommend this chiropractor. And I walked into that chiropractor and I had a chip on my shoulder. I was pissed. I'm like, I don't want to fucking be here. Everybody's telling me to come here. Screw you. You're an idiot. And he could sense that. He could totally tell that. And it was really funny, the dynamic, because he's like, yeah, here's your problem, whatever. And I'm like, look, dude, you haven't freaking laid me down. You haven't touched me. You haven't cracked my shit. You don't know what's going on. Like, how are you just going to stand here and look at me and tell me what's wrong?
Yeah.
Well, fast forward, and he was like heaven sent.
It was amazing.
And in a matter of like 60 days had me completely freaking fixed. And he became like one of my buddies. I'm like, I like you. Okay. And we even said that like in the third time that I went, it was funny. I was like, I kind of had a bad attitude. And he was really funny. He's like, you were kind of an asshole when you first came in here.
There you go.
And I was like, yeah, I was an asshole when I came in here. And I totally admit it and I acknowledge it. I said it's because I hate chiropractors. So people listen to this, you might hate the trainer. You might think that this dude who's ripped or this girl that's ripped has this arrogance or this edge or this chip on their shoulder or this, that, or the other. And maybe they do, maybe they don't. But I think in hiring your coach, if you're hiring your first fitness coach, you might have to swallow a little bit of humble pie and realize like, hey, this person knows what they're doing. I'm going to have to shut the hell up and listen to them, even though I want to think this or I want to say that.
Well, and go off like, I think you need to understand experience or the education behind the trainer. There are so many people out there that maybe have competed one time and they're going to be your coach.
Yeah.
So go find out what their education, their background is, how long they've been doing it, what they will give you, if it's custom or if you go to them and you're going to get the exact same meal plan, cardio weight training program that the 5 other people before you got, even though you're 5 inches taller and 50 pounds heavier. Different. So you've got to make sure it's going to be something custom, someone that's going to want to work with you one-on-one. If that's your goal, there's always online coaching too, that they can still work with you and customize your program and do Skype online sessions. But no,
because I think I'm a lot like a lot of people and I'm lazy. And if I'm not there to have somebody, I would not have done what I did this morning if Justin wasn't there. If he just sent me that workout, I would have done it 75% less effort than what he did. But he's standing there and he's like pushing me, and so I have to do it, and it pushes me to do it. My personal opinion is like your first step should be an in-person coach, because it's going to push you to do something different. And if your coach is not pushing you to do something bigger, better, faster, stronger, you probably have the wrong coach. But I think people with discipline can do an online deal. That's
maybe someone that's already gone that way and they're just trying to get to the next, I don't know, level. But no, you're right. When I first worked with Justin, I was the same. I would meet with him 5 days a week, every morning, 5 a.m. And it took that. And even when I work with him still, he ups the weight. He makes me do more reps. He slows me down. And there's just a totally different component of being with someone in person, pushing you through a workout, because they're correcting your form. They're making sure you're developing symmetrically, that you're not going to get injured. And so that is crucial. But that's what, I mean, when you look for a coach, you need to know experience. You need to know that they have an education, that you can ask them a question and they're going to tell you why. They're not just going to be like, because I said so.
Yeah.
So they should be able to explain exactly why they're doing what they're doing, how they're doing it, and what you're going to get out of it.
Yeah, I think that's huge. If you're listening to this and you haven't hit your fitness goals, if you're not where you want to be, get a coach. I mean, literally just stop what you're doing, Google it, hit people up on Instagram or friggin' Facebook and find somebody that can start kicking your ass and give it time. Like, give it time to like evolve and materialize and take shape, because there's nothing cooler than actually seeing results for me. Like, I love it. It's addicting. You see some results, you wake up in the morning and you're really lean or you're this and you're like, oh shit. You know what I mean? I've got more pictures on my phone of that because it motivates me. You know what I mean? Because you wake up and you're lean and you're this and you look good and you're kind of like, yeah, man, like I've been putting in the work, and it feels good. So I think getting to over that initial hump of this sucks, and like seeing some results, dude, there's nothing more motivating. There's nothing more motivating than having more money in your bank account than you did yesterday. There's nothing more motivating than having deeper, more connected, passionate sex or conversation. Like this is how you gauge it. This is how you gauge life. This is how you go through life is, am I doing more? Am I going deeper? Am I looking better than I did yesterday? You get to that point where that becomes your focus and your goal. Like you said, you can be competing at the top of the scale and you still are wanting more. You're still pushing for more. And I think, making that 1 degree of change tomorrow, it would become addicting to people. If you have $0 to have $1, you're like, oh shit, I have $1. What if I have 2? I went from 0 push-ups to 2 push-ups. Holy shit, what could I do 3? What if I did 5? Oh my gosh, that would be insane. And then all of a sudden you realize like I'm losing weight, or my belt is, I've got to go in a couple notches on my belt kind of a thing, and my clothes don't fit. It just becomes this aspect of progression, this aspect of like truly living life to the fullest. And it doesn't matter where you are. I think everything starts, in your mind, making that decision, making that declaration, like I'm going to do these things, I'm going to make this change, and then making it happen in your body. If you can make shit happen in your body, you can make shit happen anywhere in life.
Right, exactly. I've seen a lot of people have these momentous successes like that, like even as simply as doing 10 pull-ups, unassisted, and even myself included. I've seen, I went from having 0 calves, which sounds silly for a girl, but now I have calves, and when I get pumped, they look big, and I'm so excited. And it's silly, but I have to send Justin a picture. Look at this pump I just got.
It's not silly. It's awesome, man. Those are the things that people want. That's the euphoric, I don't know what they call it. Is that dopamine or whatever it is, that stuff? It's addicting, man. It's addicting. Like when I cross the finish line in the race truck, I want to keep going. I want to go gas it up, and I want to keep doing it again because I just did it. And I did this rep, or I lifted this weight that I've never lifted before, or I saw myself in the mirror and you're like, whoa, you're looking pretty good kind of a thing.
Yeah.
This is addicting. These are the things that in my opinion push people. Financial, relationship, doesn't freaking matter. Do something that's one step further than you were yesterday. Make one freaking decision different. Make 1 degree change, and then do it the next day and the next day. And I think with regards to the conversation of fitness, like what you're saying, I mean, make a decision to hire a coach. That's a huge change right there.
It'll commit you for sure.
Yeah.
Accountability is key almost with everything. If you don't have anyone except for yourself to be accountable for, it's so easy to quit.
Mm-hmm. Super easy to quit. Everybody quits on everything. It's really easy to quit. Mm-hmm. It's really easy to justify it. My friends, fitness is huge. You've got to get yourself in shape. You look good, you feel good, you perform good,
Happier.
You're happier. I am happier when I'm in shape, period. I am much, much, much happier when I can roll around with my shirt off. I'm much happier when I look good, when I stand up on stage, not posing or whatever, but whether it's business, I feel much better. Mm-hmm. I just feel better. I do. It's that simple. I think a lot of people think there's more to it, this, that, or the other, but you get your mind right, you get your body right, you can accomplish whatever you want. Anything else you want to share with everybody with regards to fitness?
I would say I would incorporate supplements a lot of times, but you got to know your supplementation. That's where a good coach comes in, because he can tell you, or she can tell you,
right,
what supplements to take. But a lot of the time, those are going to help you get to that next level in your goals. So with our diet these days, to eat as many nutrients as we need, nutritional value stuff that we need, a lot of the time you're going to become obese. So you can't always just overeat all this stuff. I mean, if you do eat too many calories, you will gain body fat, end of story. So that's where supplements came into a big play. So, supplements, nutrition, cardio, training, but that's where a coach comes in. So I guess that's all down to hire a coach. They'll tell you what to do.
It can all be solved by hiring a good coach. I swear to God, I did not set this up, my friends. You've probably heard me say this a billion times. I didn't tell Heather when she came on, hey, tell everybody to hire a coach.
I had no idea what we were going to talk about.
I'm not a fitness person. I didn't either. Like, that's what I love about these podcasts.
Yeah.
I knew that in talking to Justin, I was like, let's talk to your wife about like high level competition and the mentality behind it and the whole thing. Cause I'm fascinated by that.
Yeah.
I really am fascinated by it. Cause I have zero desire, zero drive to do that.
A show.
But I am fascinated by the mentality of it because that's what I do in other areas of my life.
Right.
Whether it's racing a truck, whether it's business, you know what I mean? There's something mentally happening to people that are at that level. But yeah, I mean, the fact that you're echoing hiring a coach, I've been teaching this and preaching this for years simply because it's truth. So many people are so afraid of the conversation because you have to be real. You've got to be vulnerable. You have to stand up in front of somebody and say, I suck at this. Teach me.
Yes.
And so few people want to do, especially dudes. Like, so few dudes want to do that. People make fun of lions, not sheep all the time. Oh, dude, you just whatever. You come out and, you know, you beat guys up and you just do this and you do this and whatever. And I'm like, no, I honor the fact that they took that step that I took years ago after my divorce, after my bankruptcy, after me being miserable and said, I need somebody to show me a different way. And I think that's what makes fitness and health and life rad is when you can get to that point and say, show me a different way. Show me a better way. I want to make a 1 degree change and end up in a different location and then another 1 degree change and then another 1 degree change until I'm living, eating, breathing, sleeping the life that I've imagined that I like.
Right.
Period. Cool. How does everybody find you?
You can find me, heatherdees.com. And then on social media, IFBB, Heather Dees, stands for the International Federation of Bodybuilding.
I don't even know what any of that stuff is.
IFBB is like the top of the
That's
sport.
the big dog. Got it. Is that like having doctor at the beginning of your
It's like
name?
Heather Dees, IFBB Pro.
I'm going to put doctor on my checks just because I can. I think it'd be funny. Maybe I'll throw on that. IFBB wannabe.
Wannabe. There you go.
See? Okay, so IFBB.
Heather Dees.
Sweet.
Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook.
Dig it. Heather likes guns. We hang out. We go shoot. She likes working out, staying in shape. Her husband's a good guy, except for when he's training. Then he's a total dick.
You'll have to have him on here sometime because
he's going to come on. He's going to come on soon. We were going to have him on today, and he had some stuff going on. But go look up Heather. Check out what she's doing. Watch her journey, and it's inspiring to me. It really is, like, knowing how much time and effort and energy you put into it, and really the dedication and the mentality behind it. I mean,
well, I'll be tracking my progress for the Olympia, which is coming up in September 15th in Vegas.
I think I'm coming to that. Justin's like, dude, you should come. I've never been to a bodybuilding show.
You have to.
I've never even been to like one of the local ones at the gym.
Well, that's okay.
I've never been to any of those. So he's like, dude, come down, hang out. We're going to sit with
Phil.
Phil Heath? Is that his name?
Yeah, his crew.
He's like a big dog.
But I'll be on stage, so you'll watch me. And it's 18 weeks. Well, yeah, it'll be 17 weeks from Friday. So
that's awesome.
Starting the prep, and, you know, you see me now, this is as heavy as I get, and I'm just going to get shredded from here.
That's awesome. Well, good for you. Well, thanks for offering value and adding value. Keep kicking ass and doing your thing, my friends. Thanks for listening to the Revolution Podcast. We're trying to create revolutions everywhere, including fitness, and talking to people that are literally creating revolutions in their own space, in their own world. So I appreciate you listening. If you enjoy the podcast, please like, please comment, please share it on YouTube, on iTunes, Facebook, wherever you're listening to this. Go look up Heather, follow Heather, and until next time, adios.
See you later.